Welcome to the oddly satisfying show, Math Pots. We need an intro.
Hey everybody, time to take your seats for the oddly satisfying show.
Amazing. That's absolutely awesome. So,
Theme tune written in 5 seconds.
yeah, we don't need to overthink these things, right? And it's like that in life. And I'm loving your t-shirts. I'm a bit shit sometimes. You know, the motto. I need one of those t-shirts. We should probably both be wearing those on this. Mine says "woman up," as you can see, and it's a message that I feel very strongly about. You know, both in terms of the gender diversity issue, but also in terms of this thought of manning up in life and being tough. It's not the right way forward. And whilst it's faded, my views on those philosophy are still strong. I just want to assure you of that.
I'm into that, brother.
So we're here for the oddly satisfying show, right? And you've agreed against better judgment and probably advice of your team. I'm here against the advice of my wife. We should be doing other things right now. I know what I should be doing right now. I should be doing a financial model for some fundraising for my Form Score app. And I'm into that. I'm excited about that. But that's what I should be doing right now. What should you be doing right now?
That's my response to your important finance fundraising meeting. I should be writing a book. Is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm supposed to be doing that every day. But I'm pretty utterly shit at it.
Only sometimes. I'll give you a beat for that.
Oh yeah. Turn it up.
Oh, and the dancing as well. So I don't know if were you ever a raver? Was that your thing?
Oh no, man! I'm the least hip guy around. That's why you're here, because I've been playing jazz, and nobody listens to jazz.
Brilliant. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the oddly satisfying show is all about and how this madcapped idea came up. But first of all, Form Score. We always start with saying how we are. I'm the bloke that asks you, how are you today? So Maff, I'd like to know, how are you today?
Well, actually, the funny thing is that because I'm from the north, I mask everything in bravado and bluster. So what you see before you is actually a bit of a 3 or a 4, actually.
Okay.
But I am overcoming it with fairy lights and friendship from you today.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that. And it's we all put our game faces on, don't we? And sometimes it's good to get behind the mask. And so I'm sorry that you are a 3 or 4. That's part of the condition of being human. We know it'll pass. We know tomorrow you could be a 5, and that's okay. But it's good to be here to try and bring a bit of joy, mostly for everybody else that's watching, which is going to be my mum.
Yes.
So,
and not my wife. Yeah,
definitely not mine. So I'm a 7 today. You see my background here. I'm a 7 out of 10. So I've had a kind of tragically ironic week. In a big all about me post on LinkedIn, I said, congratulations to myself. I haven't drunk any alcohol for 12 months. Okay. And so I was really proud of that. And then I woke up Monday, and I've had the coronavirus, and I thought I was through it. And I woke up Monday, and guess what? I felt like I was drunk. I was literally staggering around. And every morning this week I wake up, I've lost my balance, and I gibber around, stagger around, because the virus has sort of come back and it's affected my balance and my inner ear. So after bragging about my cleanliness with alcohol, I've then basically been leathered all week with no alcohol. So that's probably stopping me from being an 8. But
I think you're being generous with that score, mate. That sounds like some tough breaks.
Yeah, but good spirits, and like you, so super excited to be here, and I'm delighted to entertain my mum. So talk me about your background, and I'm going to just sort of change a little bit as to where I am for something more appropriate than my score. But while I do that, tell me where you are right now.
Oh, I am in Camarado's Central, the office of Oh Hello. Wait a minute, where are you? Are you in the Crucible?
I'm in the Crucible Theatre Sheffield, but you can't really call it the Crucible, can you? You have to say the Crucible Theatre Sheffield. I mean, everyone knows it's in Sheffield, but you can't really refer to it without saying the Sheffield bit on the end of it. So let's get into it. The Oddly Satisfying Show. What is that all about? Where did it start from? So I sent you an email saying I have an idea. And then I said, when I come out with those 4 words, I have an idea, 2 things should happen. 1, you should run away. And 2, I should know better. He's gone. He is absolutely gone. I'm brilliant. I thought I was going to be doing that on my own for a second. So you didn't run away, and I clearly don't know better. So we're going to do this. So this is the first one. So where did it start from? I received a note from a friend of mine called Simon Anthony. Simon Anthony is one of the most intelligent people that I know. And I'll read a little bit of it. Hope you're managing well and not going stir crazy during this odd time. Note the word odd there. I thought I'd drop you a line, but I fully expect you to think what I'm to write about is insane. Ignore it. I am now a full-time YouTuber. I run a channel called Cracking the Cryptic, which now has over 220,000 subscribers. So what do? Every day we release a puzzle that viewers can try, and then we solve them on the channel. But the interesting bit, and we're both mental health campaigners in different ways. That's you and I, not me and Simon. He's been receiving a lot of emails from people who say that watching him solve these puzzles is good for their anxiety. It helps them sleep, and it's really good during lockdown. And so I thought that's quite interesting. And he said, You're the only person I know who works in mental health, so I wondered whether it may be of interest. All the best, Simon. Now, top man. So let me tell you about Simon Anthony. I did accountancy exams with Simon. I am a chartered accountant, and that definitely needs a tune. And I kind of knew it was going to be that one. And so when we were sitting there in the practice lessons doing these like really complicated accountancy type calculations, Simon Anthony would finish it in about 15 minutes. I might finish it in 25. A lot of other people might have taken 40 minutes. And I love my class. They're all really bright. So whilst Simon had finished, he would then do the Telegraph and the Times crosswords while he's waiting for everyone else to do it. I would just piss around with 2 of my other mates, who I both called Glenn Bowker. We don't need to go into that, but there was 2 Bowkers there. And we would just gibber around like you and I do, and then everyone else would eventually finish the questions. So he's a bright guy, made a lot of money in front office banking, and now he's got this YouTube channel where he just solves puzzles.
Brilliant.
So I started looking at this, and I started watching them, and I thought, this is awesome, and I can't solve Sudokus. I've never done one in my life. I've tried to do one, I can't do them, right? And I started watching this, and I'm like, this is just gold in terms of just content, just gold, absolute gold. But then I noticed if I'd watch one before I go to bed, I'd have a really good night's sleep. And I'm like, I'm onto something here. When he's onto something, I'm not onto anything. I'm just watching it. So there's a clinical psychiatrist, friend of mine, an advisor to a lot of the stuff that I do, a guy called Dr. Ian Jordan. So I sent this to Ian. I said, is there anything in this? People watching a bloke solve puzzles. Is that good for our mental health? Because if it is, I want to know about it. Yeah. And he came back and said, well, there's this whole concept called oddly satisfying videos. And on Reddit, there's 4.2 million people following the Reddit channel of Oddly Satisfying.
Brilliant.
And so he then shared an article that came out in the New Scientist where a media researcher called Stefan Waring talks about during lockdown, there's 2 things that are happening to us. Hypervigilance. We're really vigilant about what's going on. But then, if we can supplement that with amazement, then that can make us feel good. So there's this whole thing around these oddly satisfying videos. So I thought, why don't we just have a chat about it? And I know I've shared the video with you. So what I'd propose is if we just show a sort of little clip of this now. I'm going to make sure I just use the tech and share the computer sound as well. So there we go. It's a fabulous intro, isn't it?
Yes.
Hello, welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I hope you're all managing to stay safe during lockdown. We're continuing our schedule of doing 2 videos a day. So Mark is going to be back later on tonight with I think a classic Sudoku today. He's going to try a New York Times hard puzzle for you guys.
So right there and then, we haven't even got into anything, and I am transfixed. I'm transfixed, and it's there's a bit of the soporific, very English, very British tones we've got going on there. Very English middle-aged man. he's not in the David Attenborough category of soporific voices, but yeah, I kind of want to hear him, and I want to hear what he's got to say. You know, so but yeah, I just wouldn't think it's possible that this could be interesting, right? What do you reckon?
To begin with, you think, surely a man can't be doing this, can't be filming himself in his attic solving puzzles. And then your eyes sort of drift down to the bottom of the screen and notice that this has had over a million views.
Yeah.
You notice that 44,000 people have actually taken the trouble to like it.
Yeah.
And then he's got 235,000 subscribers, and then we'll talk in a minute about the comments, which are amazing. And you think, what?
He's amazing. He's amazing, and he's as I say, he's a friend of mine. He's a beautiful human being. But yeah, let's just track forward a little bit as he starts to explain what's going on, and then the real jaw-dropping moment. There's a few of them, but when he first releases the puzzle itself,
what I love is just how angry he gets.
yeah, it's brilliant. Let's just drop him in again.
You may be wondering, looking at this blank Sudoku grid, well, something a bit different is the answer. Right in there. Let's see what we get.
This is great.
Right. He's got to be joking. There's no way that this... Well, it might have a unique solution, but it's not going to be findable by a human being. I suspect this is going to be a short video because he is trolling me.
He's trolling me.
Trolling.
Well, I can put a 1 in this box, in the central box. So, right, I'm going to give this 5 minutes, and then we will probably turn the video off, and you'll never see this. And yeah, he's going to get an angry phone call.
Angry phone call!
So I kind of selected that track for this moment. So stop playing with my mind. So Simon's having none of it. He's angry and he wants to solve it. Now, we're going to put a link, obviously, in the comments for my mum and the other person that might join my mum, so they can see this. But as he gets to solving it, he starts to just think, right, I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and then he gets a bit of logic. Then a little nugget of knowledge appears. But it just sort of builds up this tension that you end up rooting for him, don't you? You also want to cheer when he fills a line of these puzzles.
He just can't resist trying to solve it.
Yeah.
And then it's like watching a climber get a foothold on a huge, kind of rock face, and he starts to get through it. And then there's a moment where he sort of cracks a big point, and you do end up rooting with him. You also realise it's like a battle.
Yeah.
Because someone has set this puzzle, and you start imagining this sort of evil genius out there that he's battling with, and then he sort of, it's like the kind of James Bond versus arch villain of Sudoku,
So let's track forward a little bit and get another snippet before we dip into the comments.
We're going to have to look lower down the grid, and unless I've missed a restriction there, I can't see what to do at the top. I mean, I suppose that one rules out that square, that square.
So let's track on.
Interesting. Wherever we put a 3 here, either there or there, those two can't be a 3, because effectively you can ring a domino. It's a bit like a star battle, a star. It can't touch anything.
I love that.
I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear there, but what do we say? That must be a 6, that must be a 6, and therefore this must be a 6.
Real humility, and we see that come out in the comments, don't we?
He talks about how special it is, and he says something wonderful at the end about the universe. I'm trying to remember what it is now. And he just, this puzzle means everything in the end.
Yeah,
and
the universe is singing to us. There we go in the comment. So Stuart Goodwin there commented, "This is quite moving to watch. The universe is singing to us." And he says, and he isn't wrong. And these comments are incredible. Some of them make me laugh out loud. The keyboard clicks as he starts to solve. Give me adrenaline.
No.
I'm just going to pull out another. This bloke here is. I'm commenting just to help the algorithm. The world needs to see this. That made me laugh.
I know. It's great.
And so you just wouldn't expect it. So for me, this is something that is oddly satisfying. It shouldn't be satisfying, but it is, and it makes us feel good. And we can analyse it to death, but we're not quite sure why, are we?
Well, I've been thinking about this because Really, really honestly, I started from the point of view of I don't play Sudoku, and
Yeah.
I've stood on commuter trains coming out back from London, watching so many people playing it, thinking, what are they doing? What is that? You know, and so my wife had to explain it to me just to vaguely follow what he was doing, and even then I was thinking, oh no, you know, and then it became compelling watching this guy solve something, and it took on this actual huge importance where you thought, this is the stuff of life. This is solving the meaning of life. It's like using my mind to, overcome something difficult. And I think the relaxing thing is you watch a guy sort of slowly gain control of the uncontrollable. And do you know what I mean? It's kind of,
Yeah, absolutely. And he said that, you know, he suspects that people can see this seemingly impossible problem, and then slowly it's unpicked and it's solved. And the seemingly impossible problems that we all carry then just seem a bit lighter because you have hope. You have hope in the possible, don't you?
this blank grid, you see, which is oh god, I'm going to get so pretentious now, but it's like, it's the blank grid is like, you know, your life staring back at you with no answers, and then slowly you people the grid with answers, and you slowly figure it out. And that's quite beautiful, really. And also the nature of Sudoku. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's based on you find out what you can do by acknowledging what you can't do. Yeah. So it's all about elimination. I can't go there, I can't go there. And the restrictions this evil genius has put on him are fantastic. A knight's move and a king's move and all this. So I can't go there, I can't go there, I can only go here. And actually, I was just talking to a friend this week, Rob, who has got a terrible decision to make about kind of work. Does he stay? Does he go? Does he need to stay because he needs to get a mortgage? All of this kind of stuff. And in the end, we started taking away decisions from him in order to make him happy about where he was going. When you've got so many options and so many choices, actually things are quite terrifying.
Yeah.
So, like your fella and Sudoku, take away those decisions and you're left with, I have to go there, is oddly satisfying.
It is oddly satisfying. And I think as we progress, if my mum, and I'm going to keep referring to my mum until we have more viewers than that, but if my mum says we should do another one, and we have to ask her, because there's no point us doing this to ourselves. We can do it, but we just don't need to record it and edit it and all of that jazz, right? But I think if we do more of these things, we kind of need to rank them. You know, we need to score them. We need to say, you know, where does that fit on the, you know, the oddly satisfying scale, a kind of oddly satisometer type thing.
It's a bit Doctor Who. I'm not sure that's right. Have you got anything?
I'm going to give something or two. Yeah, that's in the jazz fraternity, Maff. That's Missy Elliott.
Oh yeah, love her work.
Very famous jazz musician. That one. So yeah, that can work. You know, it's.
I think the oddly satisfying ometer is a very good idea, because there are certain things that make things oddly satisfying. One is their sort of complete pointlessness.
Yeah. For me, there's something around. There's the deeper meaning stuff to what's going on. So on the face of it, it's a bloke doing a puzzle in his attic, right? But there's, as you've just been discussing there are some deeper meanings to it as to how we can translate that to life, and we need to be able to gain something more than just the actual event itself. So we've sort of got the pointlessness, but then the deeper meaning bit.
Oh, and totally, I got to say, you must tell your mate. By the time I got to the end of it, I was punching the air that he'd solved it, and also really emotional that there were hundreds of thousands of people doing the same thing somewhere, rooting for him. How must that feel for him? Amazing.
Well, yeah.
That was me. Amazing.
Brilliant. You know, that just needed a sound, and your elbow and your shoulder just, you know, the whole leaning in bit. That's people talk about leaning in, don't they? You just did it. It must feel great to him. Yeah, rather than making millions of pounds for banks by being clever at tax. Yeah, he's probably found a sense of purpose in his life. Are there any other criteria? There's got to be an element for me of surprise, the unexpected. You know, so I think I don't know what you're going to show me as the oddly satisfying theme for next week, but I think there's got to be a bit of surprise around. Really, we can't. Surely that can't be worthwhile our time. Something like that. A bit of that. It makes you stop and think a bit.
There's something about ridiculousness and silliness which I love. I mean, camarados, we talk about this all the time. Is that to be silly is to be human, and yet all the time we fill our lives, particularly places that deal with big, heavy issues, we fill them with seriousness.
Yeah.
Which is an odd thing, really, right? So yeah, definitely. I think there's another criteria as well, which is kind of this idea of what it does for people. I love the fact that so many people with anxiety and sleep problems are finding the cure, or help at least, from watching a guy fill out a Sudoku puzzle. I mean, it's lovely. I listen to a podcast. Everybody listens to it. It's one of the biggest ones, the Commode and Mayo film podcast. And they regularly get people writing into them saying, "You've helped me with my mental health." I mean, what a beautiful thing. Yeah. Listening to two middle-aged men witter on. And I mean, I think what makes me go to sleep is, honestly, I quite often will stick a film on that has no consequence. I'm a closet Trekkie, actually.
Okay, we can talk about that.
So, live long and prosper, Rob.
Yeah.
But, watching Kirk and the crew on the Enterprise, I find it hugely comforting. Yeah. Again, probably because it doesn't matter, but yet seems to everything about it matters. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm more of a Jean-Luc Picard man myself than a Kirk man. Kirk a bit cavalier for my taste. Jean-Luc Picard, more stronger leadership skills.
We're finding out so much about ourselves right now, Rob.
Yeah, we are. I actually, in a different setting this week, I did say "make it so," and then. I thought, oh, did you really just do that? And my team looked at me like he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Which I was.
So I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
Yeah.
That's something Kirk might say and did say in Maff. You see that? Oh man, we could talk quite a lot about this. Picard and his calm leadership and all that. I'm much more the kind of maverick guy who gives it a go. What the hell? Don't know where it's going to turn out.
Yeah. And then you've got your Captain Janeway. There's another leader you could bring in. So what starship captain leadership style do you have? It's interesting.
I think we may have just lost our one viewer there.
My mum is gone. She's gone. We lost her at Star Trek, so we better get back on task, right? Back on point. So we've sort of got enough criteria, and we can evolve these. So I think we need to give, a score each, and for me, it's a score out of 5. It's a one-hand job, and it's kind of how many fingers are going up.
Okay.
I reckon.
Right, gotcha. So should we do it on the count of 3 and we both put it up?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to interest, like, how harsh do you want to be? What sort of judge? We know we're not X Factor here, are we? We're not Cal. No. we want to reward greatness, and is that great? But we don't want to set the benchmark too low. If we give him a 5, and then there's nowhere to go from there. So
very tricky, Rob.
I'm feeling a bit of the pressure, but let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'll just need a bit of gunner.
Okay. Ready?
Oh!
I was there. We're a 4. Yeah. So, yeah, it could have been a 5 for me. Could have been a 5, but I'm just, and I might rescore that one as we go through.
Well, I don't think your mate would respect a 5 because I think he's always striving for improvement.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
I think also, it's something innate in our Britishness that we don't give 5s just willy-nilly, But the guy's, he's not a 3 because he's a genius. Yeah. So he's a 4.
Yeah, I think it's just a strong 4, and it's a pretty hard benchmark, to follow, really. So that segues nicely into kind of, we're going to do this fortnightly. So you're now going to set me a challenge, I think, of checking out something that you find oddly satisfying. Talk me through your choice, Maff.
Well, so actually, there might be another theme developing here, which is that things that are oddly satisfying help you sleep. But because this helped me and my wife. We watched it every night at the start of lockdown when anxiety was bubbling up and no one knew what the hell was going on. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to talk about something that is no longer available on iPlayer, but I'm sure we'll be able to find something somewhere. And it is called The Great British Sheep Gather, or The Great Sheep Gather. And it is literally 90 minutes of watching shepherds bring sheep from the top of Scawfell Pike, the highest peak in England, down to a farm at the bottom of the hill. And you just watch them bring the sheep down. Now, every now and again, Maxine Peake's narration pops up and she reads a beautiful poem, but not very much. Now and again, the shepherd talks, but mostly he kind of grunts and goes, all right, because he's Cumbrian. So for the lion's share, all you're hearing really is meh, goodbye, meh. And it is a great joy. So that's what we'll have next week.
Brilliant. So that seems fairly pointless. And it would,
Perfect.
It meets the criteria. So you're going to send me the link, and then we're going to review the link in the next show. We're going to post all of this at some point, and then I think this is going to force us as well in the interim period, because now I've got to think, what is the next oddly satisfying feature that I'm going to give back to you next time we convene on this. So it's already got me thinking in a very different way about life and about the world. So. Well,
I think the nation, nay, the world awaits, Rob.
Yeah.
Will you come up next?
Absolutely. So that's a lot of fun. So look, I think we should just give a shout out to our viewer. Hi, Mum. Her name's Sylvia.
Hi, Rob's mum. Hi, Sylvia.
But you can call her anything, Maff, because she's seen your interview with me on the G24 show, and she can't remember your name. I think she called you Nigel this week. So call her anything. But her name is Sylvia. So, Mum, great to see you. And then there may be one or two others that start to, in her village in North Wales, kind of watch, and we'll spread it from there. And then, so we've got 2 weeks to do this. So I'm going to. Just going to conclude with a little outro piece of music, but I think you need to have a little flourish as well first.
Well, I think we should say goodbye to Sylvia and Sylvia's dog walking friends. I don't know if she has a dog. And all her tennis partners and the like.
Brilliant. And a big shout out to everyone at the Crucible. It's a shame that the World Championships of Snooker has been postponed this year. One of the big tragedies of the coronavirus crisis, but we know snooker will be back.
I know I speak to everyone when we find that really troubling.
Yeah. So...
Before we go, can we just say a big thank you to Sudoku Men?
Oh, yeah, big thanks. Simon Anthony, you're an absolute legend. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So that's it. That's the pilot for the Oddly Satisfying show. We'll be sending that video to Channel 4 and ITV. And, otherwise, we're going to see you back in a fortnight. Thank you, everyone.
Bye!